Chelsea fans, we are back. We are back yet again with another one. How are we feeling so far under Xavi Alonso? Because I have to say, I am feeling absolutely phenomenal. It has been such a good start to life under Xavi Alonso so far. Now Chelsea FC have signed LACROIX from Crystal Palace. It's only looking up from here. We'll get into that a little more. We'll talk about how many defenders we have a little later on, and then we'll go into how I think the starting 11 will be with LACROIX in a 4-2-3-1 formation and a 3-4-2-1. But first, I want to speak about who we have in our preseason tour lineup. Okay. Goalkeepers, Sanchez, Jorgensen, and then a couple academy players. No Mike Pendas. I feel like we knew that since Mike Pendas was not going to be, since he was with Belgium in the World Cup, Sanchez, it looks like he's going to be the main starting goalkeeper for the season, which is fine with me. I think he's more than capable of doing that. Jorgensen, he could still be sold, but I think he'd be fine as a backup. That's A-okay with me. He can do the job in that spot. But if not, Mike Pendas will be the backup, and I've spoke about this a million times before too. I don't want Mike Pendas to just sit on the bench and be a backup. So if he's going to be the backup goalkeeper, if Jorgensen leaves, he's definitely not going to be no third choice. Nuh-uh. He needs to play in like all cup games against relegation squads. He needs to be in the squad playing as much as possible. Anyway, move. Palestra and defenders. Achimpong, Fofana, Sarr, Tosin. Ansamino, Colwell, Haddo, and a couple academy players. It's about expected. No players like Reece James, obviously, because they're at the World Cup. No Chalobah, which I think he will end up going to. But Palestra's in there, which is good to see. It's good to see that we signed him early enough to where he will be in the preseason squad. Achimpong in there, Fofana, Sarr, Tosin, Samino, Colwell, Haddo. So 7 players in the preseason squad that can play center back alone. Plus, with the LACROIX signing, we got to start getting rid of some of these center backs. Again, I think Chalobah will go, which will help out the situation, and it's probably a good thing if he goes, if I'm being honest, because he's going to probably be, if I'm being honest, it'd be Achimpong, Fofana, Colwell, and LACROIX all ahead of Chalobah. So it's probably fine if he goes. It's probably smarter on his choice to go. Anyway, we move. Midfielders, Lavia, Sugo, Walsh, Kellyman, and Watson. Watson, an academy player. Kellyman, I guess, is an academy player who we bought for $30 million, which is crazy to me. Walsh, Reggie Walsh. I'm really interested to see how he does in this preseason. I really hope he gets minutes and gets playing. Lavia, hopefully he can actually stay fit, and it's good to see Sugo back in there. No players like Enzo, Caicedo, obviously, they deserve their break. Forwards, Cole Palmer, I'm excited for him in preseason. Gittins, I'm actually really excited about as well. I do have to be honest, after scoring those 2 goals, yes, it's against like League 2 sides. Still, I'm really excited for him to play. Esteval Willian, my GOAT. I cannot wait to watch him in preseason, man. Every time Esteval steps on the pitch, I just love it. And I hated how last season, Maresca, I feel like never played him, and so we couldn't get a good run of form, a good run of games in there. McQueen in there with forwards. Satpayev, I'm so excited for him as well. I really wonder what's going to happen with him, if we're going to end up loaning him. I don't think so. But Joao Pedro and Delap in there. No Jackson in there. So he's probably going to be sold at this point because we thought he was going to get a preseason, but I'm not seeing him. But no Amiga, because he picked up a hamstring injury. We'll have to see how long that is. That really sucks for his career at the start. And Quenda picked up a small injury as well, which I saw earlier today. So he's going to be out for a small injury. So we'll see how long he's out for, which is unfortunate. I was really excited to watch Quenda, but if I'm being honest, we got enough players to watch over the next couple of days anyway. Next, Chelsea have made a serious bid for Kiram. Help me on this one. Algebrakovic. Whatever. Have moved ahead of Italian clubs for him and is now down to the player to decide. This is from Fabrizio Romano. Look, this will be a third right winger or a third left winger if we have him in because of Rogers, Kieran, the man we want to bring in for $30 million, and then Gittins, and especially since Gittins has had a decent preseason so far, it seems, or behind closed doors preseason. I kind of want to see him get minutes. I'm excited to watch Gittins play, like I just mentioned. So it'll be interesting to see if we end up having 3 left wingers, what's going to happen with those guys. This also just makes me think more and more we're going to play the 3-4-2 formation with the wingers in the squad. We move. Update on the players that could still be leaving the club. Enzo Fernandez, I believe it's, here we are. Liam Delap, Enzo Fernandez, Gusto, Chalaba, Jackson, and Philip Jorgensen. Jorgensen we've known for a while. Jackson, it's kind of been iffy for a while. Chalaba, he looks like he's going to go to Como. Gusto might still go to Man City, but I don't know if Man City's going to want to pay the 60-something that we're 60-70 that we're wanting for Gusto. Enzo Fernandez, we know he's got that price tag of $120 million. I really don't think he's going to go anywhere. I think he will be in the starting 11, and that's why, spoiler alert, he will be in both my starting 11s when I make them later this video. Liam Delap, look, if we're going to have Satpaev in the squad, if you're going to have him, you might keep Jackson, Amiga, and Joao Pedro. We have 4 or 5 strikers in there, plus Gui, which Gui isn't even in the preseason squad too, so he'll probably be sold unless, who knows, maybe he already was. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't even see it in the media with Gui. But those are the players that you could see leaving the club. If we do sell all those players, then yes, like the reports we've seen, we will have enough money to buy another big player towards the end of a window if that were to come up. Anyway, the big Chelsea news story to hear. We all know it. Chelsea have signed LACROIX from Crystal Palace. Here we go from Fabrizio Romano. Only Virgil van Dijk made more clearances than LACROIX in the Premier League in the last 2 seasons. That's a big stat. Keep that in mind. Not many other players I'd rather have with a stat like that, obviously. He was Palace's highest rated player on FootMob, all those kind of apps last season for Palace. He had Palace's most interceptions, clearances, and aerial duels won. He's a center back. That's kind of obvious. But first place in all those. He's a 6'4" center back. I feel like Chelsea FC have needed some tall players recently. So could this help out with the corner goals too? Because Palestro's also 6'1" and Rodgers is 6'3". Gotta love that. Even Rodgers can go in as a left winger and win a header, which is absolutely brilliant. Arsenal, we all know how they did with their corner goal specialists this season. Could we see other teams do that? Or other teams like Chelsea FC looking to try and get height for, those corners? So he's a great player physically because he's tall. We know that. And mentally, I think he'll fit in with the mentality monsters things that we're trying to go for with Chelsea FC and Xabi Alonso. Xavi, I can sit here and say all this stuff about LACROIX at the end of the day, but we all know Xabi Alonso's signing him for a reason. We know he's going to be a big player and a good player because why else would Xabi Alonso sign him? Whatever, just a little rant there. We continue. Arsenal allegedly wanted him, but we beat Arsenal to 2 players so far. We can do it again with Bruno as well. That would be absolutely hilarious. And it's funny because we did the same thing with Liverpool with Caicedo, Enzo, Lavia, stole them all, which Enzo and Caicedo have obviously worked out, not Lavia. Lavia's been hurt way too much. He's the 5th fastest player in the Premier League last season, which is great for recoveries and all that. We know that. So Xabi Alonso has literally completely changed this team. He's building a team with the right players, and it's good to see that Blue Co aren't necessarily, making the signings anymore. It seems like they've listened to the fans and the protests, how we had at the FA Cup final, that huge bus with the Blue Co out sign, where we raised a bunch of money for that. That is absolutely unreal. But thank you all to Chelsea fans. It seems like they are finally listening to our cries, which is just, this is exactly what we've wanted to see. Is it perfect? No, but are they, they were on the plank there for a while. They walked it. They were getting close to the edge, and we said, okay, if you're going to make the right signings, now they're kind of, back on the ship a little bit, but, they're still there, you know what I mean? So we'll have to see what happens with that. But thank you to Cuckoo and Enzo for speaking out because they are the reason why Blue Co is even doing all this stuff in the first place. Because when they said they were going to reflect, it seems like they seriously have. Top managers, top players, top experience. It's really starting to work out. I know it's funny because I was literally just saying last week how we need to start seeing more signings, and all of a sudden, yeah, we made them. So he will be a right center back, or a central center back most likely next to Palmer, Colwill or Colwill Reece James. We'll talk about that more when we get here in a second with the new starting 11. But Do we need to start looking at selling defenders? Because let me name how many players in our squad can play central center back here that are at least on FootMop. So LACROIX now, Aaron Antamino, DeSassi. He'll probably go, but he's there right now. Tolson, Badiashile, Colwell, Sar, Chalaba, Fofana, Chimpong, Samuel Smith, I guess you can say is 11. Hado's 12. Yeah, 12 players who can play center back. And if we're going to have 4 at the back, I would suggest we have 5. And we have way too many, man. That's just, it's keeping it simple. Look, but Aaron Antamino, he'll probably go or go out on loan. DeSassi, he'll probably go. He should go. Tolson will keep around for Palmer. That's the only reason why. Badiashile, I think, will go. Chalaba will go. So that's 4 at least right there. But we have so many center backs. Finally, we signed the right one, you know what I mean? But we still have so many to get rid of. But, that's a whole other topic for another day. Now we can get into the starting 11. The main one, talk about this one the most, is the 4-2-3-1, which, again, is what I've said. I think Xavi will play. And goalkeeper Sanchez, we talked about that. Left back, I think, will be Hado. It won't be Barco. Hado's just better. Let's just keep it real. We haven't really signed any other left backs. Maybe Palestra can play out there. I really have no idea. But so far, it's looking like it's going to be Hado. We tried to sign that Pep Charvaria dude from La Liga. That didn't end up happening, so maybe we'll still go in for another one. But right now, I think it will be Hado. Central center backs will go Colwell, LACROIX. I think that's pretty obvious. Right back, Reece James, pretty obvious. I feel like Palestra is going to be a backup in that spot. I think he's a really good player to be a backup, actually. But, yeah, I think he'll be a backup unless, we play the 3-4, because then he'll play right wing back and Reece James will drop into right center back or the midfield even possibly. But we move on. Caicedo at CDM. Enzo, as long as he stays in, will be central midfielder. Palmer will be Cam. I think that pretty much suits itself. I feel like it has for years. Left winger will be Rodgers. We know that now. Right winger will be Esteval, and striker will be Joao Pedro. It pretty much suits itself now. That's the good thing about the Chelsea team, because I feel like under Pochettino, we never even knew who our starting 11 was because we were so shit that it was so fucking hard to even figure out who the hell was going to be in our starting 11. But now it pretty much makes itself. We move. If we're playing the 3 at the back, it'll be Colwell. I'll draw this, or it'll be Sanchez, Colwell, LACROIX, Reece James, Palestra, Hado, Caicedo, Enzo, Palmer, Morgan Rodgers, Joao Pedro. I think it's pretty simple. I think it pretty much makes itself again. But I'm just glad we got LACROIX in. We needed the center back, and we finally signed a top one. We only signed him for $52 million, which actually is not bad at all for a player like LACROIX. I thought he'd be like 60, 70. So we will gladly take that. Is there anything else I want to speak on? I believe that's it. So it'll be interesting again to see if we sell any more of these players, because like with Liam Delap Jackson, we have 1 million strikers in the team. So we've got some selling to do, Chelsea FC.